We're here at the Pahala Plantation House in Pahala, Hawaii with ukulele master Mr. James Hill.
Howdy.
Howdy. I was wondering what your approach to songwriting is. What you start with, melody, chords, what your thoughts are on developing an idea.
You mean like songs with words or songs with no words?
With words, let's say.
Basically, I haven't been doing that for very long. I started writing, messing around with songs, like with words type, pretty recently. But I really got into it. I surprised myself. I didn't know I was such a lyrics first kind of person. I thought I would be a music first person. But as it turns out, I like to work the lyrics first. And then from the lyrics, I find that there's a certain rhythm that naturally comes out of the lyrics. There's a certain meter that comes out of the lyrics. And the lyrics themselves have a certain melody and a certain cadence. And from that, I just sort of exaggerate the natural flow of the line, and that suggests a melody. And so from the seed of the lyric, everything kind of unfolds. That's usually what I find. I mean, there's no hard and fast rule, but that's usually what I find is the case.
All right. How would you use a different sort of tone to express different parts of a song or bring out a certain line, say with instrumental stuff?
Like string type tone, like
Yeah.
where on the ukulele with my. Well, that's a good question. I mean, it's hard to say. Instrumental songs aren't really about anything, right? So it's tricky. It's like you can always say if you're singing a line, you would have a reason for going a little louder or higher or softer because it's reflecting the words, kind of painting the music that goes with that word. Hawaiian music is full of that type of stuff. But instrumentally, that's a much more difficult question. One thing I do try to be aware of is the different voices that are going on at one time. And trying to create arrangements and original pieces that have conversations built into them, between the voices. I'm thinking of that Duke's Alley Rag that I was talking about the other day. That has the two lines. It has you were asking about, the Travis picking, keeping a bass line going. Well, I'd try to use a bit of a different tone on the thumb as opposed to the finger, which is going to be the melody voice. Giving the melody a little bit more brightness, and a little bit more shedding a little more light on the melody, and letting the back and forth kind of seesaw be slightly darker in tone, that kind of thing. No, it's a really good and difficult question, but
Open-ended.
yeah, we could do a whole interview about that.
What was the first time you picked up an ukulele, and what ukulele was it? Do you remember?
That I can answer. Those are facts. I started playing when I was 8 years old. I was in grade 4, 8 or 9, and my first ukulele was a $40 Empire Music Classic. I think it's called the Classic CT 500, which is it's sort of the standard issue student model ukulele in Canada.
Even to this day?
Yep, to this day.
Interesting. Alrighty. What would you consider your favorite ukulele song or arrangement?
That I've done, or that anybody's
That
done?
anybody else has done?
Oh, instrumentally?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the big names like John King, love his arrangements of some of the music of the Hawaiian royal family. I love Oda-san's arrangement of Rhapsody in Blue. That really knocks me on my ass every time I hear it. And Kimo Hussey has done some really great instrumental stuff. His arrangement of Amazing Grace, or his arrangement of Classical Gas. These are like really great, creative arrangements that really use the ukulele to the best effect. I think maybe the most impressive arrangement that I've ever heard was John King's Prelude to the First Cello Suite by Bach. I think that's online. You can go find him playing that. It's a powerhouse arrangement.
Delay or reverb?
No.
No. What kind of? What's that?
Live?
Yeah.
Yeah. If anything, a little bit of reverb.
Okay.
That's a good question. That's funny. There's two kinds of people in this world.
Yes, indeed. What about thirds or sixths?
Also a good question. I'd have to, if I had to choose one. It's like choosing between your children. It's like, I'd say sixth.
And what was like the most bizarre performance you've ever put on? Something interesting that happened?
Also like choosing between your children. There's been a number of things, but I do remember doing one show in Japan. This was during the tour during which the swine flu epidemic was spreading, and Anne was with me for the first time as well, and my first time for us to be together in Japan. And we were playing in a town where, well, I don't know how to say it, a fairly conservative town. And I sort of warned Anne. I said, don't worry. In this particular town, they don't exactly always show how they feel during the performance, and they're very polite, and it's just the way it is. So don't be thrown off if you don't feel a lot of applause coming back from the audience or whatever. So it's kind of preparing her for this thing. But I was completely unprepared for what actually happened, and that was when we got out on stage. It was a sold-out room of about 300 people, and because of the swine flu, we walk out on stage, and every single person in the audience is wearing a surgical mask. It was like a scene out of like a Stanley Kubrick film. Are we on?
So goals.
Yeah, goals. Outstanding
Goals.
Well, yeah, another album of songs, which you never stop writing. I've got a few songs that I want to get down. I think the last album, Man with a Love Song, it was a really long album. It was like 14 songs, almost an hour. I've always wanted to do a long album. I think I might like to do a short album now, like an album of short, succinct songs. We'll see how that goes. I'm not known for being really succinct, but I want to do an experimental album. I'm just kind of bashful when it comes to releasing the experimental stuff. Like I've been doing it for a while, prepared ukulele and sound sculpture. But in terms of actually releasing it, I don't. It's one of those things that I'm not sure if I want to have my name on it. Like maybe I'll have a pen name, or like perform with a mask on or something, because I think it rubs a lot of people the wrong way. Of course, that's what I like about it, but so I'm definitely at some point I'm going to release a really out there kind of experimental piece, and on the education side, there's a whole lot to do too. Teacher, those educational goals are also part of my artistic goals.
And does that build on ukulele in the classroom?
Yeah, and that's one component of it, but there's a lot more to be done there. Ukulele is just expanding beyond our wildest dreams, but it seems to me like the piece that's the most at risk is the education part. to keep the whole thing going in a sustainable way. Like we could just keep expanding, but without a core of like of good teaching and ability to pass this on to people of all ages, I'm not so sure that the thing can outlast the fad. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think education is a big piece of the puzzle, and so I want to keep working on that too. And that'll keep me busy for a while.
Right on. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.